I was like, hey, thanks for doing this. He was like, yeah, man, of course. It was a lot of fun. Never asked me to do that again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to What is Comics, the official show of the Indie Comics Creator Con podcast convention. I am your host, Jamie Jones, with my co-host, Matt Sardo. We've got a special episode for today because we are post-con, wrapping it up. I am exhausted. Matt is exhausted. It was an exhausting weekend. I don't think I'm fully recovered. I don't think you're fully recovered. And it's going to be a while till we are, but we have made it. We crossed the finish line, and let's celebrate a little bit. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, no, this is definitely a celebration time. You're getting full radio voice because I kind of lost my voice. Got a little con crud there, but you're getting full radio voice at a point in time. There will be a show in 2026. We just don't know when. But I want to give a huge shout out to all our sponsors that helped us get through the show and made it such a success. Like, I am blown away with the smiles and everybody, the creators. It was like so amazing, the event. But what do we got? Comics Wellspring, Detulio Art, TD Art, Athenium Comic Art, Monkeys Fighting Robots, Dark Horse, Alternate Universe, Cosmic Lion. Is that everybody?
I think so. That sounds right.
So many sponsors.
There's so many sponsors. Here's the thing that I've kind of garnered from this convention this year. Everyone wants in. Everyone wants to help in as many ways as they possibly can. Everyone wants to be a part of it, right? You had a woman taking tickets for pizza who made a comic book, right? Like, they made
Jules Bakes. That's her name. And check out the book.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, what, through Scholastic or some big publisher, right? It's a big publisher that her book came out in, and that's crazy. That's the kind of people that are just at the show. She wasn't tabling. She just she volunteered her time to come down and was like, put me wherever, put me in, coach. I can do whatever. And you were like, can you take tickets for pizza? And
she was the best pizza security guard I've ever had. Like, she's the number one best security guard ever.
Yeah, it was great. Like, that's kind of the thing, is everyone who's involved in the show is working in comics in some kind of way. And I think that's what makes this show kind of really special, is the people who are working are also working professionals. Sometimes you get students, sometimes you get people that are like wanting to come into the show. This show this year was, hey, everyone's working in comics. We're already all tired because we're working in comics all the time. And then now we're going to do a show on top of it. That's a really fun thing. I think that's, and we fill up different aspects of the comic book world and comic book community. And I think that's really fun.
One of the aspects of the show and things where we tested the waters is we did a scavenger hunt, and people really attached to that and completed that. And the grand prize is a jam piece from Drink and Draw, and we're going to raffle that off. We have yet to raffle it off yet because still recovering. Like, some more thank you emails have to be sent out. Awesome. But this piece of artwork, if I can add it to the stage, is bonkers crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be proud of that thing.
It's really crazy. The people that have joined on this, like Paul Kirshner's right there, kind of towards the middle bottom. Chris Anderson's piece is crazy. It's a lot of people adding stuff that everyone just kind of got to it and went wild, just adding things to the jam piece. If you missed the jam piece, next year, don't. Because I think maybe we get a bigger piece of paper. Maybe we tell people to draw smaller, and we just really fill it up in a lot of really fun, cool ways. It's wild.
The baboon at the bottom right. You got We still need to find out who did the Batman so we can beat them.
Don't say that. But it is Indie Comics Creator Con.
It is. No Batman.
Yeah, I don't think I fully got to take it in. It was just like, it was a crazy night, and passed around so much that I think I went to sleep before it was finished the night before. So yeah, it was great to see. It's great to see so many people on it. So many people
Because
tackling the
RD
thing.
Murphy, RD Murphy with the owl, which is impressive because we've never seen him draw live like on paper because he's a digital
Yeah, yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
Tony McMillan is there. Basically, our guest list of our podcast, like Ro Higashi's there as well. Chris
Yep.
Anderson. I
Yep.
didn't. Wesley got in late, so he wasn't able to make it there. I'm trying to think of who else. Let's go. But we got Eli. Eli's at the bottom middle.
Dean Haspiel did Red Hook, which is cool. His character Red Hook. Yeah, there's just so many people. There's so many things. It's a cool, exciting piece. And yeah, jamming it out.
It shows the spectrum of art that you'll see at IC3.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. Yeah, it was super cool. I was glad that was a part of the show and continuing to be a part of the show. Into the next year. I think that'll be fun, and maybe grow it into the thing. The big thing for the show is this jam piece, right? Like, how cool would that be if that becomes like the collector item commodity thing?
That would be really cool. And then
Yeah.
we had drink and draw, and let's see if I can click on this one. That's you. I gotta no this one. I'm gonna go on.
Drink and draw was awesome. It was.
And we made these coasters for drink and draw. Oh, you guys can't see me waving my hands, and it really doesn't. I love John Mungielli did this one, and he was a really cool person to meet at the show. He's an art teacher. I think this is his first time tabling, but this was a piece of artwork that he handed me, and it was cool to see all the coasters the next day because I think Eli did a big spread of coasters.
Yeah, and they went quick, right? That was the thing. We had stacks of it, and I think like later on in the night, or maybe it was the night before, the night after, people were like asking me, "Hey, where are those cards? Where are the things that I can draw?" What?
Are they all gone?
I think they were all gone on Friday night.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Eli had a stack of them that they were other people's stuff, and it was just like Saturday morning he showed me this like a stack about this back. That was about half of a pack of worth of art on it. I was like, damn, that's wild.
You never know what you're gonna get at like a drink and draw or when you test something out. And so this was really cool. Like all the creators that came out and to drink and draw, I think it was double the size than the previous year.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. It seemed like it was just a lot of people. And I think that's what I've been so impressed by with this show. I mean, we had a kind of insane growth of creators from year 1 to year 2, and seeing the year 2 people who are at year 1 ushering in the people who are new for year 2 was super cool. And that's why it grew. It's because it was kind of this big hangout thing, and we had this conversation a lot, I think, over the weekend, which is like everyone should be treated the exact same as they walk into the door, right? Everyone is doing something that we're all making comics here. We're all trying to find our footing in the industry in some way or another, and having kind of this meeting of minds where Dean Haspiel is talking to like RD Murphy, right? Two guys. RD Murphy starting his career in comics. Dean Haspiel
is right in the middle. He's right in the middle. He's not old at all.
Strongly planted in the middle of his career in comics, but also transitioning. Right? He is one of the things we had a conversation about was transitioning into doing the independent self-publishing stuff full time, right? That's so it's really interesting to see these creators come together with similar love, just similar love for something, and have that conversation, be able to just commune with a bunch of different creators at different levels, seeing what they're doing to make ends meet, seeing what other people are doing. That's kind of the beautiful thing of this convention. You go to a lot of conventions, and the quote unquote bar con is people are separated, it forms cliques very quickly. That's just, human behavior. Is you're going to talk to the people that you know. I think one of the things that makes our bar con so fun is there's not a lot of space, so you're gonna be talking to somebody because you're so close to each other. And Jim Rugg and Tom Scioli seemed like they were holding court in the actual lobby of the hotel, right next to the water the water dispensers, right? They were just talking about publishing and different art tools and stuff like that. It was really interesting. It was really crazy to see. Just you could go to one corner of the room was Christian Messi and Dean Haspiel and a bunch of people over here doodling on whatever you put in front of them. And then there was Jim Rugg and Tom Scioli holding court. There was the Cosmic Lion guys all just like working on some kind of jam piece. Chris Anderson was working on like pages. And I'm pretty sure he can't talk about what he's working on, but those pages are cool, and look forward to seeing those things. But
oh man, I missed out on that.
Yeah, he was actually working, and he was like, I have to finish this page tonight. Like, that's what I have to do, and that's what I'm doing at the Drink and Draw. And seeing the way everyone was interacting, new people, old people, there were some great talks, literature talks going on where I was for a while. It was really fun. Just different conversations you could bop around. I always feel really awkward leaving a conversation, and at no point did anything ever make me feel like I couldn't just dip, right? Because the conversations were so big that it wasn't like one person's holding court and if that person wants to leave, it wasn't one-on-one conversations. It was big group conversations happening in different places. So if you needed to just meander and walk around and find a new conversation, that was the way that this show worked. It was very easy to slip in and out of conversations. Nobody made you feel, everyone was included. That's what it felt like. It felt like everyone was there for the same purpose.
Yeah, no, my proud moment was that Paul Kirshner came to Drink and Draw because he lives in New Haven.
Yeah.
And he didn't know me from anything a year ago. And, I saw him at Mice, and we've had a few interactions since then. So for him to come to Drink and Draw this year just made me feel really cool, because he is an amazing person, amazing human being, and then an amazing artist as well. So for him to take the time to like hang out with us,
Yeah.
that was really cool. And then Ken Lenegraph came up again, like, so we had like all these different levels of creators. Like Ken Lenegraph just being in the middle of the Cosmic Lion crew was just dumb, silly fun.
It was stupid. It doesn't seem to make sense to me. Like you have these names, these kind of touchstones of the indie community, and having them come in and participate in such a meaningful way, right? It's not just like coming up and showing up and saying hi and leaving, right? It was like Ken was in the mix, Dean was in the mix, Jim was in the mix, right? These guys who were the honorable guests of the show were just like there and in the mix of it all. And from what I understand, feeding off of it, right? So if you're a little more tired, if you're a young creator and you're a little more tired, it's because the veteran vampires came in to steal a little bit of your soul, so they can propel themselves to do more comics.
Yeah. So I want to talk about our art that we got from the show, but first, I need to mention this person, Jeremy Heiler. Very, very talented person. He won the mini comic competition. We gave the award away at Drink and Draw. This was we had a pool of judges. I think there was like 6 in total, and it was ranked choice voting. and each creator had to make a 1-page, 8.5 by 11 mini comic, black and white. My sports analogy to it is it's like NASCAR. I want to give each creator the same vehicle, and I want to see how fast they can drive the car. And all the creators did an amazing job. Like the the difference between first place and 12th place was only a few points, and then the difference between first and fifth was like 1 point. Like it was very close to who was going
Yeah.
to win through. So this competition is more of a celebration about all the creators and about IC3 and to kind of just bring everybody out there. But there was a winner, and his name was Jeremy Heiler, and it was a really awesome experience to like hand him the trophy and to just see the joy in his face winning it.
Yeah. Yeah. A celebrate, like, it is one of those things where you have people coming in and uh, getting the recognition that they deserve is always super fun. Jeremy also donated mini comics to the bag, right? To the giveaway bag for all of the people. And it was really fun. I did not know Jeremy won the thing until the night of the show, right? I was not a part of the jury or anything, but I read the mini comic that he put into the bag, and it's a doozy. It's a great, you know, it's a great comic. It's a great thing to propel his. I would use it to be like, oh, this is what your career is going to be. You're doing these like really thoughtful, really inspiring pieces of work, and then he shows up with Batman Snow. This is
Yeah.
crazy. It was like, wow,
He handed me a
this
bunch
is
of books, and I can't wait to read them all. And then this is
yeah,
just
yeah.
a silent issue, and it's amazing, and the art is amazing, and I'm just I'm gonna say this a million times. You try things and you're not sure how they're gonna work out, and that was a key moment for me of the show was the award.
Yeah.
I think we flushed it out. We think we flushed the idea out. I think it works. I think it's gonna grow, and I can't wait for next year.
Yeah, that's a thing with this show, and it will probably be reiterated a lot. The sentiment will be reiterated a lot from this show forward, right? Is what is the show that we're trying to do? What worked at this show, and how do we make it better? How do we make it bigger? This show, in comparison to last show, was let's throw everything at the board and see what sticks, right? And surprisingly, a lot of the stuff that we really wanted to work worked. Um, the stuff that I was really gunning for working happened, and in having that, the growth and being accepting that maybe things didn't work as well as you wanted to. Not saying that anything really bombed, but seeing the vision, having the vision, playing it out. I'm a big proponent of it. It doesn't mean anything unless it actually happens, right? If you're making a comic, you can think about your comic all day. You can think about it as much as you want, but it doesn't mean anything unless that comic exists and I can hold it in my hands or I can read the panels, right? That's kind of what year 2 of IC3 felt like. Was we made the comic and now it's here. Year 1 was, okay, this is a bunch of ideas. We have this idea that we want to get going and get it to work. Year 2 was, oh, the comic's out. Now let's figure out how to make a better comic, how to make a better show, right? I think it's. I'm really excited. I'm really jazzed. It
No,
could also be the 20 cups of coffee I've had to have all week to get going.
No, but I do love it's. I've started to take ownership of it, but I will always give you credit. But like, you say, we did a thing, and we're doing a thing, and those two lines like really stick with me because I was like, or we, like because we're doing it. We did it,
Yeah,
and we're doing it, and
yeah.
that's my motto for the show right now. We're doing a thing. We did a thing.
We did a thing. We're gonna do a thing.
Yeah. All right. So what do I got on this board here? I got some crazy stuff on this board, and you need to talk to me about this. I still don't know how I feel about this guy.
This is so good. What are you talking about? This is Christian Massimo. This is I have a sketchbook that I bring around to conventions and have people draw in. That's all newspaper strip characters, and this was late Saturday or Saturday at the after party. So what? At least 11 o'clock, and
A bare
I
minimum left.
bare minimum it was 11 o'clock. I didn't go to bed until 6 a.m. that morning or 6 a.m. Sunday morning. But this was it was a piece that I don't give any direction. I just hand over the book and say this is the rules. The rule is draw somebody in draw a character from strips. Do whatever you want. I love this so much. There's a quote from one of my favorite movies of all time on it. He did not know I loved that movie. It's from Oh Brother Where Art Thou? And I read it and I was like, this is fantastic. And I don't know why he wrote Oh Brother Where Art Thou? I said, oh, it's from Oh Brother Where Art Thou? This is great. And he goes, yeah, it's just a movie I like. And I was like, yeah, great. It makes sense. For whatever reason, it makes sense for this. I love the rendering. I love the take. I had been waiting for somebody to draw Peanuts in the book and seeing what they would do. And are they just going to draw somebody that, are they going to draw Charlie Brown that kind of doesn't look like Charlie Brown? And Messi really did a fun thing where he drew Snoopy and Woodstock in his style, and I love it. I love it so much.
What I do is I started getting commissions for my kids, and Chris Anderson, he did a commission for me last year of Raphael and knocked it out of the park. And I was like, hey, my kid wants Bluey, but can you give me like your live field version of Bluey?
Yeah.
And he knocked this out of the park. I'm so happy with this. Like, I might not even give it to Alice. It might sit on my wall.
It's so much fun
because he always overdoes his commissions. Like, I don't think
yeah. Well, he did something in my sketchbook too that's just like it's blew my mind.
Which one?
He did Alice the Goon.
There we go.
Yeah. So there's Alice the Goon from Popeye, and it's just rendered beautifully. It's everything folds in a way that's just I don't know, it's just mind-blowing. The feet do it and going all the way out. It's really a stunner in the book if you're flipping through it. I've got some bangers in that book, and this one is one of my favorites.
Yeah, no, just the dress itself is pretty insane, and like how everything works, and the amount of detail that he put in a barroom sketch is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Gerald Dye is one of the creators who came to the first show, and I saw him at Mice, and I was like, hey dude, like, did you not sign up for the show this year? And he's like, oh shit, I forgot. And I was able to get him into the show, and he's an art teacher as well up in Mass. And this year my theme for my personal collection was Astro Boy, and so I had him do Astro Boy, and I love it so much. I think it's just beautiful, and it's because Astro Boy is a cartoon, very simple. You can go very technical, which I'm going to show you the next photo from Titano, or you can just do like traditional Astro Boy. And I'm like, I love them both, but they're so completely different. And Gerald told me he was going to send me his art book, and
nice.
I'm very excited to get that.
Nice. Gerald is we sat next to each other during the first show. He sat right behind me, and I fell in love with his work very quickly. Yeah, this is gorgeous. This is great. I love the fire. I love the rocket shoes. It's so it's so energetic. The lines where the wrists and the shoulder meet, I think it's beautiful, right? Like, you don't have to put the technical stuff. Gerald draws a lot of like technical spaceships and design work, all mech stuff. And I think that's what a good choice to have him draw this, because it's great because it works and it's him.
Yeah, and again, Astro Boy is one of my favorite characters, and like the thing I like about Astro Boy is like he has like smooth skin, but then he turns into a robot and does the mech thing, and and I think I have a robot on my shelf somewhere of Astro Boy, and his skin comes off, and there's a robot underneath. But
Yeah,
I've lost some of the pieces, so he's always like in damage mode as well.
yeah, yeah.
And Caetano, I'd never met before. I never met him until we did that live show, and I think he's like up in Buffalo. And there's like a contingent of Buffalo artists that have come down for IC3 2 years in a row, and he gave me this thing.
Damn,
And that is
that's so much fun.
it's a smaller piece. I think it's like 4 by 5, where I think Gerald's is like 8.5 by 11. And but this, like if Gerald's is the beginning of the movie, Caetano is the end of the movie.
Yeah, this looks super cool. This is very cool. I love the energy of it's great. Yeah. Oh, those teeth. Look at those teeth wrapping around. That's crazy.
I know. And then you do it a lot too, but I don't know what it is, but I like it when creators use whiteout on pieces. I don't know. I haven't figured out why, but I just like it.
It's add a negative space to where there's no negative space. You like the stark difference, Matt. I understand. You have good taste.
Yeah, that's no, because I have that. I almost said stupidness. I apologize, even though I didn't say it. But like, I really loved your baboon mini. That's blue, and it was like blue, and it was black and white on blue paper.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you used whiteout on it to add the moon.
Yeah.
I will, and it's one of my favorite pieces because it's for that right there. I'm like, oh shit, I'm getting a sketch on a mini comic, and I think more creators should probably do that to make life.
Yeah, it's fun. It adds a little bit more of a technicality when like there's a bunch of mini comics creators that do weird things that feel kind of gimmicky, but are always really fun. Ben Sears, this is a tangent. Ben Sears made a book called Empanada, and the book came in a paper bag with a stamped empanada thing. So it was a book about a character eating empanadas, and the bag is the bag that the character has in the comic. It was great, like just brilliant design. That kind of stuff is really fun.
See, this is the new thing I'm gonna do when you get on your soapbox. I'm gonna give you the big screen. So
That's great. Screen. I wasn't on a soapbox. I was just talking.
You telling people. You said tangent. It's pretty close.
Tangent soapbox is a big thing. Yes, that sounds good.
But I have one more drawing left. What do I got here? Oh no, that's Astro Boy. Did we do all yours? I thought you gave me a third sketch.
I did. Yeah, I had a Dean Haspiel did a Hagar in it. If you need, I can just open it up.
Yes. Oh, I can give you the main floor again. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
look at that thing.
And he's drinking beer.
I am such a Dean Haspiel fanboy. This is a thing that happened at the show. We were talking, everything was great. I don't think I told him I was such a fanboy until Saturday. The show was closing. I went to go buy his new comic, Chest Face, which is super, super fun. I spent Sunday night reading a bunch of comics, and that was on my list. But what was crazy was like, oh, I have all of the stuff he's selling at his table, and I don't think I realized that. I was like, I read Red Hook when he was putting it up on Webtoons. I read a bunch of his stuff. I love Dean Haspiel's work. So it was a real pleasure to get to talk to him as a peer and as a come together, because when you go and meet people that you like a lot, it's always odd, and they always say never meet your heroes, but comics doesn't really have that stigma. I have met so many of my heroes in comics, and they're always super cool, and they're also super nice. So Dean was maybe the best hero interaction I've ever had personally. He was super nice, super great, real easy to talk to, and just felt like it was just such a pleasure. He was such a pleasure.
I can see you smiling right now. I see some dimples.
Wow, I'm so happy. It was such a good time.
And I'm not going to tell the stories because my one rule is I will not tell con stories that took place after 12 a.m. But Dean held court and told us some amazing stories that I love. And it's one of the coolest aspects of cons is when you get a tale that you weren't expecting to get. And
Yeah,
Dean told me a tale, and it was amazing. And
that
you know,
is amazing.
one last book I want to talk about is Monty Gomez, who's part of Monkeys Fighting Robots. I've known him forever, almost longer than Anthony Gomez, or not Anthony Gomez, Anthony Composto. He's been writing on Monkeys Fighting Robots forever, interviewing indie people way before I was like even doing the indie stuff.
Yeah,
And he published a book with Anton William Blake, who designed the scavenger hunt map. And that scavenger hunt map was amazing. But this book, they made a bootleg Bebop and Rocksteady book, and I love it. The artwork on the inside is amazing. It's about Casey Jones and I think Donatello
I think it's
forming
Raph.
forming a rock
Yeah,
band. I want to say Raph, but like it seems I don't know, that's a whole nother conversation about that. We'll review the book at a later date. But then Bebop and Rocksteady do a battle of the bands as well. Big thing right on the cover. I love the Twin Towers being in it.
yeah,
This is one of those things where like, and this is a longer comment. This is a tangent right here. But no, like after 9/11, they just took the Twin Towers out of everything. Like it never existed. You know, it was out of Spider-Man 2 or it was out of Spider-Man 1, the Sam Raimi film. They took it all out. So I like when I see the Twin Towers because there was a moment in time where they just tried to erase it from canon.
yeah,
And I was like, that's not work. When you have never forget signs and then you're like, oh, we're just gonna take these out of movies and comics and blah
yeah,
blah blah.
yeah, yeah.
So when I see it in print, I really excited. I really get excited because I love the New York City skyline. It really jazzes me up. I've talked about this before. I love driving through the George Washington Bridge and then just driving through Jersey, seeing the skyline. You did that. You did that most recently when you went to Philly.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, I did drive by it. But
Yeah.
I love all that architecture. I love seeing all that stuff. It really jazzes me up. So I love this cover. I like it. And I wanted to give props to Manny for being part of the Monkeys Fighting Robots universe. And a big thank you to Anton William Blake for doing the scavenger hunt. But now I think we should talk about panels.
That sounds great.
Dr. Jones, one of my special memories from IC3 was the panels. Because you never know what you're going to get. And we did the first panel went and it was packed with standing room only. And like, I had chills.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. All of the panels went over better than I expected them to, in terms of attendance, in terms of content and quality of the people that were going to be there, or people that we had talking. I knew that the panels would do well and they would be good. Part of the thing that I wanted to do was make stuff that looked good for YouTube, right? We're posting these things up. We're trying to share and give information about. Lee's panel was pitching to comic shops, right? Like how to get your book into comic shops. And hey, there we are. Look at those guys. What a couple of goobers. But so I wanted to make everything that would kind of stand alone and kind of would work as, for lack of a better term, like perennial sellers for the company, for the convention. And yeah, this one was really interesting. I was not expecting Lee to go in such depth of what, like, there was money talks. There's a lot of information in this one particular talk that I think is extremely useful. I think one of the biggest takeaways for me, and Lee and I have talked about this a lot in terms of pricing and what comic shops are looking for, was the 4 times your cost is what you should be selling your book for, right? For example, if you have a book that is, it cost you $2 to make, that just to print and have the book out, it should cost $8 for retail. That means when some retailer buys that wholesale from you, you are making money off of your book, right? And that's always been a sticking point for me. It's like, well, how do you make money off of this if you're selling something at such a, for what you think is such a steep discount, right? And then you have people like Lee that really break that down and make it accessible to anybody about that.
I said that's how much that's what they do with wine. The
Yeah,
bottle cost the bottle cost the bottle cost is like 25%
but that's
of
how
the retail
everything
price.
works. That's how everything works. You have wholesalers buying things. You have the wholesale price, and then you have the retail price, the suggested retail price, right? Like that's how that works, and that's why certain places, when you go through like a liquidation sale, those things are marked down 25%. The place is still making money off of their original investment, right? Comic shops are they own everything in the comic shop. That's something that I don't think a lot of people know and a lot of people understand is they don't work on consignment. Uh, yeah, so here he
I
is.
feel like Lee's panel is one of those things that you can apply almost everything to other elements of the comic book industry. Like when you're, like being, like looking good, being prepared, being professional, all these things. Like this is how you present yourself to editors. This is how you present yourself to other artists and creators when you're trying to collaborate. All these different things can be applied to different aspects of the comic book industry if you want to grow and be successful.
Yeah, what I found so interesting because I was in every panel, right? I was I was running all the panels, making sure they worked. The conversations that were being had between the panels and between the panelists that they did not know were happening was really cool. So I suggest if you're going to watch them, watch all of them, uh, and watch all of them in order, right? Like they grow and they become something. I think, God, for lack of a better term, the narrative, the structure of all of these things kind of form and coalesce in a way that's really really informative. Everything is playing on top of another thing. Everything is adding to another element, right? Because right after Lee's panel was the tastemakers panel with the editors, and they were saying stuff that Lee had already mentioned in the first panel, right? And it grew from there. And there were certain people. One girl. She called me out during the Jamie Motti Power Hour after the Asking Good Questions panel, where I said we were like, "Don't ask people what brushes they use," and then I immediately looked at Christian Missy and said,
What
so when
brushes
you're
you like?
not using, I phrased it in a way that I thought was fun. She called me out on it because we were having a cheeky time during that panel. But I said, so when you're not using expo markers, what's your pen of choice?
That's
And
awesome.
that,
I
and
enjoy
he was like, I like a micron. And I was like, that's interesting.
I'm gonna put this in our video so that this one. I want to put this one to the stage.
Yeah.
We need to. This is the one thing we dropped the ball on. We should have done this before every panel so that my YouTube thumbnails look so much better.
I think your YouTube thumbnails are great.
I was just like
Let's
scrolling through. I was like scrolling, but like, would there needs to
your
be a
YouTube,
moment
you
where
do. It was very funny. I noticed this. Most of your YouTube thumbnails is the person on the closest to me making some sort of hand gesture.
yes,
Every single one is them like, and that's really funny.
all right,
And like Mike
so
Martz is laughing so hard at something,
yeah,
but yeah, this is
but
good.
you need to explain. Let's add this. Explain this to me.
Okay, this was the Jamie Motti Power Hour was an idea that I had that I really wanted to make something that could be informative, also kind of silly. It's also the last panel of the day. It kind of, everyone's kind of a little loopy by then anyway. So let's see if we can get some artists to doodle and draw for us and talk about them drawing while they're drawing. This was one of the artists, Michel Fife, kindly. I love this man dearly, and I owe him a dinner when I see him next. Wrote a prompt for the two artists to draw while they while Monty Keene and I made fools of each other and talked about their process while drawing. They used expo markers on a whiteboard because that's what we had access to, and that's what we were able to cobble together. The prompt was a wizard battles entropy personified while a birdman flies away. It was this, like, I was like, there's so many things you can do with that. There's so many things that make art good. What was really interesting to me was seeing the similarities between the two artists as they did it, right? The wizard is in the foreground on the left hand side of state audience left, stage right hand side of the boards, and the story progresses that way, similar to the way it's written, right? A wizard battles entropy personified. You get that in a linear fashion, and we talk about that a lot. There's words on some.
Yeah. Do you know how to pronounce Jonathan Mark's last name? Is it Brevecchia?
Gosh, Brevecchia. Yeah, this is why I haven't said it. Jonathan was great. Yes.
So that's Jonathan's, and this is Christian Messimo's.
Yeah,
and their art styles are completely different.
That was one of the choices. They also did not know that they were doing this until an hour before the panel. That was another thing. I was like, I'm going to pull somebody. They don't know this is happening. They don't have time to think about it. And what's funny is
how did you decide on those two?
Well, Jonathan was sitting next to Marty, and Marty was like, "Oh, get John. He's a good guy. He's gonna do it really well. He draws quick. He draws fast. He's just loose and fast." And then it was like, who do I pair next to him? Right? Who's the person who's also comfortable drawing live? Christian is a caricature artist, so I was like, and has this wild like Mad Magazine style. So two very completely different stylistic artists that I think really push, you can see the difference and you can see the boundaries of what comics can be and what comics can do artistically, but then also see where their similarities come into storytelling. That's what it is. And the reason it was me and Marty is a vibe guy, right? Like he doesn't plan. He writes some stuff out and then goes and makes a story. And I am the complete opposite. I like plan out everything. I know exactly what I'm doing. So by the time I'm actually drawing a panel and by the time I'm actually sitting down to draw a page, I've drawn it 3 or 4 times, right? And I know exactly, like in thumbnails and stuff. And a lot of it is he is so intuition based, and I need to know why my intuition is going a certain way. And I think that's one of the things that the dichotomy between Marty and myself, and then the dichotomy between the two artists was fun to play around with. I'm excited to see like where this panel, because this is kind of the panel that I had the idea that we do this every year. This is the thing, and it grows and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So playing around with that, this was the first one. This is the basis. I'm assuming it's going to be bigger, and I'm assuming we're going to get more artists and projectors and bigger screens and go crazy.
Well, if we're doing the football Manning thing, like I really want to be the sideline reporter and like go into the crowd, do some crowd work and stuff. It was interesting because with Jonathan's work up on the screen right now, he took some time to think about it, where Christian just went at it. Like he thought it was a game show. I mean, like, Christian over here was like, it's a game show. I'm just gonna start drawing and I'll figure it out and blah blah. Where Jonathan took a solid 2-3 minutes to think about what he was gonna do and then put it down, because this wasn't timed. It was just like,
No, we had an hour.
It was a loose hour. It was a very loose hour.
It's a very loose hour. Yeah. I think we were done at 45. So it was pretty quick. That was what was, I allotted a lot more time than I thought that I needed. I did not expect these two guys to go at it as quickly as they did. Christian says something really interesting during it, and we asked him how do you draw quickly, and he goes, you just don't think twice, you just only think once. And I was like, oh, that's a really smart way to go about this. He had it in his head and he just started going. He also started with the face, and Jonathan started with the shoulder. He started with the form of the shape of the wizard. And so it's just like really interesting to see two different people's approach to what's going on. I'm glad that it worked. That's my I was like, oh, it worked. I can see where it grows to.
Yeah, really good test concept to be like, okay, we can do this other places. I mean, now that we have these boards, we have these easels, we have the markers, like we could do this in any show. We could do this in any show.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime, stuff like that. I will drop links below for both of the artists so you can check out their work. And then you can go, right, if you're on YouTube, you can just click on our logo and you can see all the panels from the show are already up. And there's some really impressive ones there. What was your highlight from the panels?
I'd also like to say, and we can drop the link, and it may be linked with in Lee's panel, in the pitching panels, or pitching to comic shops panel. Lee put up on his Substack all of the slides from the panel. So you can just go, and it's one of the free posts. You can just go and download the slides. It's really helpful for that. So shout out to Lee for giving away a bunch of information. So what was my highlight of it all? I think in every panel, I tried to stay away from moderating as much. I know, like, a lot of panels are, I have a bunch of questions that I'm going to ask these people, and they're going to speak one down the line. And I wanted to avoid that because I find those boring. I find one-on-one conversations a lot more interesting, especially on YouTube in the interview sector of YouTube. So I wanted to break people's concept of I'm asking a question and then they start talking. And in every panel where there was multiple people, so the three other panels that weren't just where it wasn't like Lee and the Mahdi panel were the two things that bookended the show, but the Tastemakers panel, the Day One panel, and the Asking Good Questions panel, there was a moment in all three of them where the conversation changes. And it's about maybe 10, 15 minutes in, and everyone goes, oh, we're doing a different thing, right? Mike Martz in the Tastemakers panel said, I don't know, you're the one with the agenda. And I said, oh, what are you talking? I don't have an agenda here. I'm just trying to start a conversation. And Heather Antos turns her back to me at that moment and goes, oh, okay. And then they just start talking. And I was like, this is what I want. This is how I wanted it to be. And I got pulled into the Asking Good Questions. Anthony decided that I had to ask. He, like a journalist, wanted to ask a question and not just answer questions. So he turned the tables on me. And so did Chris Anderson. They both just started asking me questions about stuff, which I'm there to help guide the ship, just as a rudder. And having those guys bring me in to kind of like continue the conversation, propel it a little bit, maybe fuel the fire for a little different conversation or a different subject, was nice. So getting out of the way, I think, was nice, and seeing how people reacted to kind of a different way of doing comic book panels. Or I don't know how different they are. There's probably other people who do these panels like this all the time, and I'm just unaware. But that's like that's what I was trying to bring more of the conversational aspect to it. Because little things pop up when you're not just answering questions, right? You're able to like flow with conversation better.
Yeah, and if you weren't at the panels, you missed me try to be as cool as possible and fail miserably. Uh, I was like, I'm gonna be Kevin Eastman interrupting a panel, delivering pizza, and I was like walking the door. I was like, I'm the coolest person in the world. I got all the pizza, and I was carrying a lot of pizza, and I didn't realize that there was a little human, like a person. It wasn't a kid. Let's establish that now. It was a kid, but it wasn't a tiny kid. It was a medium-sized kid, probably college age, maybe high school age, that was sitting on the ground, and I didn't see them when I was carrying my 10 pizzas, and I tripped over them and the crowd went wild. But I caught the pizzas.
You caught the pizzas, and yeah, that was something. It worked. it was it was
You were
a
so
funny.
mad at me.
I was
You were
so mad at you. I was so mad at you. But I have been told by several people that it pulls off like a Bugs Bunny routine. So I listen. I'll be Daffy Duck all day if you got to be Bugs Bunny, and that works for me. I was mad until I wasn't. I was like, it was one of those things. Immediately cooled down and got right back into the conversation. That's one of the things that happened for these panels. Is the room that we had, I think, was the perfect size. It was I think we took 2 classrooms or a meeting room or something like that, and there were maybe 30 or 40 chairs in the room. I know this only because the maximum occupancy was 50 people in the room, and we were standing room only for a while for a lot of the panels. I think 3 or 4 of them were standing room only. People just came in. It was kind of crazy. So no wonder you tripped over people. They were just sitting down on the ground. You had no idea. You had pizzas in your hand.
I was just when I walked out of there was a dude tapping me on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey man, that was solid footwork." I would have
Yeah,
made
yeah,
that. But no, IC3 was amazing. Let's close out this podcast. But I'm really it's one of those things where I want us to inspire creators to leave the show and on Monday morning wake up and be like, I have to make more comic books because I have a whole con season ahead of me and I have no show. But
yeah.
I'm really excited to work on the next IC3 2026. Like I'm more pumped than ever after this weekend.
I feel like I know what the show is now. You know, we did the first year and it was like, yeah, we're doing this thing and it's great and we're doing it and it's awesome. And then the second year came and it was like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what we're trying. Like now that we know it works, because the first year was like, is this gonna work? Are we gonna be able to do it again? And now with the second year going into it was better. And then now that it's done, I'm like, oh, I know. I kind of have a more semblance of what we're trying to do in the future and how that's going to actually look. So that's exciting. I'm really excited for year 3. I see 3.
And then
You only get
yeah,
that once.
well, yeah, it's definitely. But you have your commission list open.
Yeah, I have my commission list open. It's open. I have books for sale. I had my what? Spacow
Yes,
3 just came out. Yeah. So yeah, I've got everything. My Substack is kind of the place that I've been taking pre-orders in it. This seems weird and dirty to talk about, but hey, we're selling comics.
We're doing it, man.
We're doing it now.
Books.
I have a Substack where I put out Spacow as it's coming out, but for $5 a month, you get all of the behind the scenes stuff. And then when the book is done, it gets shipped out to you. So it's kind of like a pre-order or a subscription based model that saves you on shipping, right? It's free shipping. Basically, you get the book for free shipping. And that's what it is. Like you're at a convention and you're talking to me and we have conversations and we're friends.
No, Spacow is awesome. I like it a lot because I feel for me, it's like my inside the Jamie Jones brain. And I feel like he's on a quest. I don't know where that quest is going, but I enjoy the ride.
Well, you know, we can get into this on another podcast when we actually interview each other. But Spacow is partly made because at the first IC3, we had long conversations in the hotel about the perception of myself and who I am, and you just saying like, "Hey, Jamie," because you've got me at like my most grumpy and my most curmudgeon-y, and that has turned into me not wanting to sound this way when I go and do interviews or do podcasts and stuff like that, and you telling me and kind of giving me permission to be that guy every now and then. So one of the things that I try to do in Spacao now is like have articles that are more thought pieces than they are definitive like historical essays or stuff like that. So it's me trying to figure out kind of who I am as a creator and what I want to do and why I want to do it, and kind of give people a little more insight as to why somebody even decides to make pulp action adventure comics in a time and space where nobody cares about them anymore. So that's kind of what I mean. It's a lot of justification for what I'm trying to do, kind of for myself, and then let me get an audience involved in that.
I will drop a link to Jamie's Substack below as well. But if you've made it this long into the podcast or show, whatever we call these things these days, I want to give you like a little behind the scenes, because like my favorite moment happened before the show, because this year, like Jamie, Anthony Composto, the editor in chief of Monkeys Fighting Robots, and his wife Brooke showed up early, and Jamie was in on Wednesday. Anthony Brooke showed up on Thursday, and we just got to have dinner, like a nice, peaceful dinner before the show, and that was so good because Friday's amazing, but we're always rushing. Saturday's amazing, and then we end the show, and then we're idiots afterwards. Like there was no time for us to just be
Having a little time giving your daughters art lessons, that was fun, right? Like it was just moments like that really make the thing, and it's kind of, that is what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to build community. We're trying to be kind of a safe haven in New Haven for for the comics community and the independent creator and all of that stuff, just to kind of come together and God, for lack of a better word, it's been a lot of lack of for better things right now. We're still recovering. I I feel like it was like 3 or 4 days out of a stupor, and everything clicked with me on Thursday after the show, and I went, oh, I know what the show is. I know what we're trying to do, but a place to come together and like break bread, drink, clink glasses, cheers each other, celebrate each other as creators, and the community that we've built is really cool. Like everyone was there at the drink and draw. Everyone was there at the after party, and that was a fun time.
Yeah, no, the show was amazing. For me, it's counting smiles, and there was a gazillion smiles, and there was no sad faces, and it was so much fun. But we gotta do all the technical stuff. Like, please like and subscribe to the show. Follow Jamie on Instagram. Comment. What was your favorite part of IC3 if you went to the show? If you didn't, like, you missed out. Not gonna lie. But yeah, this is our show, and we're gonna do some crazy stuff for the next year leading into IC3 2026. We have a lot of really cool stuff to reveal on the horizon, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to interview some amazing creators, and like the sky's the limit now with IC3. Like we've established the bar, and like now.
Yeah. I think also this is a conversation I had with a bunch of people at the show. This podcast, the What is Comics, will continue. There was a lot of talk of like, oh, because we started way too late, right? We started interviewing people way too late for this thing to actually pick up any kind of steam and interview any kind. Like we've barely scratched the surface of the interviews and the creators that come to the show. So we're going to continue to do this thing and make more people. So if you want to be on the podcast, email us. I'm going to set up an official like What is Comics email and get people. So keep on the lookout for that.
Don't hop on Gmail. Don't hop on Gmail and steal that email. I know somebody's gonna watch this with so many viewers, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a jerk for Jamie." Like, what is comics at gmail.com? Like, damn it, I lost it.
Yeah, so we'll set up
bye,
an
guys.
actual thing so it's easier. But yeah, that's what it is. I think we've got a lot to go. Should we stop this preamble? I feel like we don't want to get off with each other, so it's just a lot of us saying one more thing. Hey, goodbye.
No.
One more thing. Hey, goodbye. One more thing.
We're done. This is it.
We're
We'll
done.
see you next
All
week.
right.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.